In our last episode, I showed you how to measure the bust span and promised you a simple formula for getting the bust span measurement. In this episode of Ask Away with Kendioni, I'll be answering the question, how do I eliminate a pointy bust from the book, Mastering Bustier Blouses? A pointy bust is a common issue in designing garments. It is even more common in designing bustiers. The fix is to move your dart point 3/4 inch to 1 inch away from the bust point. Let me show you on a pattern. So this is a basic bodice with a waist dart. Now, to ensure you don't end up with a pointy bust when you sew a basic bodice, you will back off from your bust point by 3/4 inch or 1 inch, and that point will be your new dart point. So to do that, I will measure 3/4 inch or 1 inch from the bust point. So I'll do 1 inch. So I'll mark 1 inch in the middle of the dart legs. I'll measure 1 inch. So this is that point. And from that point, I would draw a new dart leg. Now this is going to be my dart point. This is my bust point. I start sewing the dart from the dart legs to the dart point. With that out of the way, let's learn how to fix pointiness in the bustier. Now this is a shouldered bustier pattern. For the shouldered bustier pattern, we have a curve for the roundness of the bust, and we have a contour point that extends into the armhole line, and a contour point at the under bust line that extends into the waistline. This is where we will need the bust span line. As promised, I will give you a simple formula for getting the bust span measurement. We want the bust span line to span across the armhole line, the bust line, and the under bust line, because this line will inform where we are to mark our contour point. The formula for getting the bust span measurement is bust circumference divided by 8 minus half an inch. For example, the bust circumference I'm using for this design is 36 inches. 36 inches divided by 8 is equal to 4.5 inches minus half an inch. That gives 4 inches. So from the center front, mark 4 inches on the armhole line, 4 inches on the bust line, and 4 inches on the under bust line. Connect the 3 points with a straight line as seen here, where point B will be the bust point. A simple way to fix pointiness in the bust is to have a curve from the armhole line to the under bust line using the contour guidelines. If you need a better understanding of contouring, you can find instructions for the standard contour guidelines in my course, Pattern Drafting Fundamentals. For every bustier design, you will need to contour the bust area. This is what allows the design to conform to the shape of the bust. In this design, we are contouring the upper bust and the under bust, hence the need for marking a point from A and a point from C. This new point is what creates the shape for the roundness of the bust. Observe that we have 2 points, one above point B and one below point B. This is to ensure that in the process of contouring the bodies to create a bustier, we have enough room to blend the points. Blending allows us to create a smooth curve for the roundness of the bust. Let me show you how to create the curve for the roundness of the bust and also to blend the sharp points on the pattern. Now, I'll redraw the bust span line so you can see clearly. Line A, B, and C is the bust span line. So this is the bust span line, and this is the point above point B, and this is the point below point B. Like I said, point B is the bust point. Now we are going to use those points to create a smooth curve for the roundness of the bust. So I'll just use my French curve to do that. Ensure that your curve is not getting out of the bust span. We want our bust curve to follow the bust span line. Now this is the curve. So the next thing we are going to do is to blend all the sharp points. Now this is a sharp point, this is also a sharp point. So we don't want sharp points because the human body is curved. So I'll blend this part as well. You can use your curve to blend it, but the idea is to remove all the sharp points. And this is also going to be blended. This is just to have a gentle curve. Now this is going to be the bustier line from this place down to this place. So you must ensure that your curve stays within the bust span line. Now once we are done with this, we have two pieces of pattern for the bustier. Now this is the center front piece and this is the side piece of the pattern. In the next episode, I'll show you how to use the center front piece to create a new side piece. See you in the next one.